Hi guys, I just wanted to touch on, Reginald F Lewis. Now, a lot of times, we hear news of black men and, the news sometimes is not negative, what black men are doing wrong or different types of things. But, we rarely look back at people who actually did well, like really the pioneers. And somebody I wanted to look at, Reginald F Lewis. Now, a lot of people have never heard his name, but he was the first black man to actually run a $1 billion company. He was a lawyer. I mean, I would suggest that anyone, if you want further information to go, a deep dive, to go look for PBS, his story. It's right here on YouTube. It's lovely going through and listening to his life, how he grew up. I mean, I was inspired hearing his story. So let's talk about a little bit about who he is. So basically, he was born in 1942. He was, born to a young mother, and what happened was the relationship broke up. That young mother had to move back into her parents' house, and a little bit of a story where her father, his grandfather, was saying, "Hey, we have 10 kids already. How the hell can we support this child, which his young daughter had?" And one of the things was inspiring, and his wife said it in an interview, was that his mother, Reginald Lewis's mother, said, "Listen, we will pay for ourselves." And one of the things you learn as time went on, she challenged him and she told him that he was special. Something that a lot of us as black parents need to do. We have to tell our children that they're special. We cannot let them feel like they're a burden. Now, one of the things that I like about his story was that he had a paper route. He was really interested in making sure that he earned his own keep, because he took that from his mother. And also, just a nice little funny story of his grandfather, who was like a head waiter at this Jewish organization. And his grandfather took him to work at times, and his grandfather told him, "Take anything you want and I'll pay for it. Ensure that you write it down so I can pay for it." Because his grandfather wanted to tell him that you should not steal. No matter what the fact that he was there behind it, he should not steal. Another funny story that his wife spoke about was, back then, he wanted to go to camp for 2 weeks, but so he couldn't run his paper route. So his mother said, "I'll run it for you." So when he came back, he wanted the money for the payment for the paper route. His mother said, "Hey, listen, Reggie, we didn't sign an agreement about this. I did the work, so I get the money." So he learned at that early age that you have to sign negotiations and do things. But he was a bright guy. So he went to school. He did very well. He went to a primarily black college institution. And, one story came out that Harvard, basically, there was some form of program that would allow, black law students to get exposed to merger and acquisition law. And he was chosen, even though he was a senior. And, story was that he actually got back into Harvard. They invited him to come back, to do law. And one of the things is that, when we look back at him, when he did his deal back in 1987, merger and acquisition, he was the first black man to run a $1 billion company. By the time he died, his net worth was $400 million. Now, $400 million, you look at $400 million back in 1993, come on, that's worth a whole bunch now, right? So he basically was a pioneer, and he ran this company. It broke up after a while, but it had many popular brands. This company had Tropicana, Samsonite, a whole bunch of brands that people still use today. Conagra bought a lot of the brands, but other trademarks and brands were sent sold to other companies. But what's important about this story was that this man was a provider, a protector, and a problem solver. He was a family man, and you'll see in his pictures that he was a family man. His children, his 2 daughters, are doing quite well. His wife now spends her time running the foundation, and she's doing a fantastic job of spreading the message that he started as a child of a single mother, and look where he reached. He reached the pinnacle of business. And it's something that for us as young black men, we need to focus on these histories and look back at these people. He was honest. He was beyond reproach, hard worker. This guy was a quarterback back in high school. And, there's a story of him of, going against this school, which was all white, and he wanted to do good. So he really led that team, and his teammates were so inspired by him because he told them we should not fail and we should do our best. And it's that type of spirit that we should encourage within ourselves. And let's just rally back to this message on children. We got to treat our children as being special, because we cannot have this thing of treating them like burdens. This young man benefited from a mother that told him you are special and you can do a lot in life. And he benefited from a grandfather who taught him integrity. So I just wanted us to cover Reginald F Lewis, first black man to run $1 billion company. I know and I'll go through more. This is part 2 in the series, and I really enjoy doing this because I'm learning myself about the history of these men, and these are the trailblazers, and we should look at them as examples. And they embody all the qualities that still today works well in this world. So let's keep building, guys. Thanks.